I just don't remember. In this video, I cover the experience of amnesia after abortion, why it happens, what it means, and what, if anything, to do about it. I'm one of those women who remembers very little about my abortions. In fact, the only memory I have of my third abortion is eating Chinese food with my boyfriend afterward. What a woman remembers or forgets about her abortion varies greatly by the individual. There's no right or wrong way to react. For a long time, I just didn't think about my abortions. But I've learned over time that for me, that was more about being overwhelmed and numb to pain rather than it was about forgetting what happened. As time went by, certain triggers like abortion protest signs, Mother's Day, or going to a baby shower activated difficult memories for me. And that's when I began to realize that I couldn't remember most details of what happened. It scared me at first. Then I was confused, and I wondered, is there something wrong with me? How can I feel so terrible about something I'm having trouble remembering? Understand that many women who have an abortion experience trauma. As Teresa Burke explains in her book, Forbidden Grief, memories of a traumatic event can be either intensely clear or completely repressed or blocked. Often, it's a mixture of both. Some memories are crystal clear, and others just aren't reachable. The inability to recall details of an abortion can show up in different ways. Some women, like me, experience partial or selective amnesia. In other words, I remember some of what happened during my first and second abortions. But there are also large gaps in time when I have no memory. If you had a surgical abortion, you might remember going to the clinic, talking to the nurse, getting on the table, but not the procedure itself. If you took the abortion pills, you might remember swallowing them, the feeling of when the cramping started, or the sound of a flushing toilet. But you draw a big blank about what happened in between. Another kind of amnesia is like what I experienced after my third abortion. I don't recall a single detail. I don't remember leaving my apartment. I think I must have taken a cab to the clinic. Then nothing until being at the restaurant afterward. Some women can't remember anything about the entire day and even several days after. Dr. Burke explains that there are many factors that influence what and how much we remember after a traumatic experience. She writes, if a woman has many opportunities to tell her story and receive sympathy and family support, she's unlikely to develop amnesia about the event. However, a girl who endures a traumatic abortion and is sworn to secrecy by her parents or sexual partner, she's more likely to have memory impairment from the trauma. If anesthesia was used, you might experience temporary or permanent memory loss. Pain medication afterward can also make it harder to remember details. I want to reassure you that forgetting doesn't mean the abortion was no big deal. It's actually often the opposite. Our experience can be so difficult, our conscious mind has blocked it out to save us from the pain. You need to know about, but not be afraid of, some of the psychological impacts of abortion. There's a variation of PTSD that women can experience after abortion. It's called post-abortion stress or post-abortion stress syndrome. I know that's what I suffered from for many years. The impact of abortion on mental health is controversial, and a lot of people debate it. I'm not a trained therapist or a medical professional, so I'm not diagnosing you with anything. I can't say that because you forget some or all of your abortion that you're suffering from PTSD or post-abortion stress. My point is to reassure you that full or partial amnesia after an abortion isn't unusual, and it could be a clue that you could benefit from some support. Now, if you've stayed with me so far, you might be wondering, why does it matter if I remember or not? To hear my answer to those questions, check out this video. In the meantime, thank you for watching. I'm your mentor, Jane, on the journey to a good life with Jesus at the center, even after abortion.